In 1997, my mother left me, my brothers, and her country and migrated to the United States. She grew up without her mother and thought my brothers and I could as well, at least for a while. She decided to come to this country to meet her mother and to provide for my brothers and me. I kept a picture of her next to my pillow, and every night after she left, I would cry myself to sleep. It was the saddest year of my life, and it felt like an eternity. I'm actually studying for the bar, the California bar exam. I took it already and I didn't pass. So it's like not relearning stuff. I feel like I know a lot of stuff, but just forcing myself to memorize again and just doing a lot of practice exams and hoping for the best. So we take it in July and then results come out in November, the week of Thanksgiving, and that's when we find out if we passed it or not. I was born in Tegucigalpa, in Honduras. I was raised by my mom. She was a single mom. I never lived with my dad. They separated when I was little.
Y la situación económica en mi país no era la más mejor. Entonces tomé la decisión de viajar a este país para dar un mejor futuro a mis hijos, con un plan en mi mente que sería por 3 años nada más.
When she was gone, it was like a piece of me was missing. Like my brother and I were very unhappy and we missed her. I was always good in school, but when she left, like my grades dropped. I lost a lot of weight as well. So it was just horrible.
Me empecé a dar cuenta que estaban muy chicos, sufrían mucho por no estar con su mamá, no tener a su papá también. Y entonces fue que tomé la decisión. Un día hablé con mi hija por teléfono. Ella me dijo, ¿sabes qué, mami? Yo me quiero ir contigo. Y fue entonces cuando tomé esa decisión tan difícil. Creo que ha sido una de las decisiones más difíciles de mi vida. La cantidad que necesitaba para mandar a traer mis hijos era bastante dinero, casi $20,000. Y $20,000 que no tenía, y empecé a vender Mary Kay, trabajaba de guardia de seguridad, limpié casas, y creo que lo que más me dio dinero y lo que más me costó fue que empecé a boxear. Pagaban $400 por 4 minutos. Entonces era una forma rápida de hacer $20,000 peleando.
My brother and I knew that we didn't want to grow up without our mother. We left everything we had, which wasn't much. We packed some clothes and met a man who was known to help others cross to the United States. A lot of people were making the trip, but my brother and I were the only children. It was raining, and La Coyote would constantly tell me to run, to keep up with the others, or I would be left behind. We would go a couple days without food. I thought I was going to die. I had no physical strength, only the hope of seeing my mother again. Finally, we crossed from Mexico to the United States, the most dangerous part of the trip. This involved hiking at night for several days. It was very dark and humid. I could feel my body giving up on me. Many family members and friends told my mother that I would not survive the trip because I was malnourished. But I proved everyone wrong. I survived and entered the US in 1999 for the first time. So after we cross, we turn in ourselves to Border Patrol, and they took fingerprints, they took pictures. After that, they asked us why we were coming here, and we told them we were going to reunite with my mom. And they gave us like documents saying, okay, we have you in the system now, you're going to receive a letter for your next hearing, you have to show up to court, or you're going to get deported. And then they released us. I grew up in the MacArthur Park area. It's a very populated community. Most people are from Central American countries. There's a lot of street vendors. There's the park. A lot of businesses, small businesses owned by immigrants. To me, it was a great place for me to grow up. Well, my mom was a single mother. She was my mother and father figure. It was always just trying to survive, working, going to school, survival mode. I never participated in a lot of like outside school activities because I was busy trying to pay the bills. And then when my mother met Cuco, they got married. Cuco was the provider. So I didn't have to work as much because he was there for us. They met at a nightclub. Cuco sent her like a couple drinks. And she was like, no, like I'm not gonna accept drinks from a stranger kind of thing. And then they started talking, and a month in, he proposed.
Fue rápido, nos conocimos, él me pidió que nos casáramos 3 semanas después y al mes nos estamos casando. Fue así. Ni sé por qué, después dije yo, ¿por qué tan rápido me voy a casar? Mi esposo llegó a nuestras vidas en un momento bien perfecto. Llegó y todo el mundo lo amó.
And then he was an amazing person. I wasn't raised by a father, so to me he was a father figure. For my younger brother, and for Michelle when she was born. We went to the fear hearings a couple months after we had arrived. I still remember this judge, I know her name, and I thought, oh, we're gonna go to court, we're gonna explain to her, we came here to reunite with my mom, and she's gonna be like, okay, have a good life, kind of thing. But of course I was wrong. I remember going in there and we had an interpreter. I would like listen to what the judge was saying and what the interpreter was saying because I kind of understood a little bit of English by then. And then she said the word deportation, which sounds just like Spanish, deportación. So I knew what she was talking about, and I was like, oh no, this is not going the way I thought it was gonna go. The attorney got another hearing, like a continuance. We went outside the courtroom, and then the attorney was like, you're gonna have to sign their deportation orders because they don't want him here. And my mom was like, no way, like I'll pay you whatever I have to pay you so you can keep fighting their case. And that's when I knew that something was wrong. To me, at least in my case, in my brother's case, it was like, it seemed very unjust just to be like, yeah, send that 9 and 10-year-old back to Honduras and see what they do, So I told my mom, like, I'm gonna be an immigration attorney so I can help other people who have to go through this because it doesn't seem fair. I knew I was undocumented. I knew that, but I didn't know the effect it was going to have in my life as I became older. Like, I had to drive without a license. Like, I knew that was going to be one of the things I had to do. I knew that I was going to go to college and get a degree, but I didn't know if I was going to be able to work. So I knew those things were coming, but like you said, until like you live it or it's right there in your face, you're like, wow, okay. And then you just roll with it. So after I graduated high school, I applied to Glendale Community College. I got accepted, but I didn't know how I was going to pay. It wasn't a lot of money in comparison to going to a university, but still it was extra money that my mom didn't have. And I didn't want to put that burden on her, so I knew I had to find a job. But I didn't have a social, so I knew it would have to be like a pay under the table kind of job, you know. I worked at a store that's right around like my house. They used to sell phone card stores to make international calls. I would work Monday through Sunday, 72 hours a week. I even had to work the day my mom got married. Yeah, so it was crazy. I transferred to Northridge. I was still working a little bit less, but I was never part of anything like social clubs because I didn't have time. Like, I would work, and when there were no clients there, I would like do my reading, you know, and do my homework. And that's how I did it. So after Northridge, I actually took 2 years off because I knew I wanted to go to law school, but that was like a long shot because it wasn't like undergrad where you pay $3,000 like for semester. It was $40,000 a year, which my mom didn't even make that amount. So I decided I was going to take time off and save money. I applied to law school and ended up going to Western State, which is in Irvine, California. And I was given a scholarship, and I was working at the same time to pay the rest of the tuition. My mom had the idea of selling food on the weekends. She cooks really good and people love her food. So she would make like enough food for 50 or 60 plates. And then I would go offer them. And there's swap meets around my house. So I would just be like, oh, I'm selling food today. Like, do you want to order a plate?
Y fue así donde la comunidad empezó a conocer a Cristel. Después, poco a poco, se fueron dando cuenta de que lo estaba haciendo era para alcanzar sus sueños, sus estudios.
And we would sell out every day, thank God. And that's how I raised the money. Fortunately, I went to a small law school that it's very diverse. And I was one of the first 2 DACA students that attended. I think I had a great experience. I was able to be part of the immigration clinic, and that's why I decided to go to that law school, because they have an immigration clinic, so you get to work with actual cases. So I did the immigration clinic on my 2nd year, and then on my 3rd year, they started this new 9th Circuit project, which is a big deal. Just to put it in perspective, people go to immigration court, and then if they appeal, they go to the BIA, which is the Board of Immigration of Appeals. And then if they appeal to that, they go to the 9th Circuit. And then if they appeal to that, they go to the Supreme Court. So it's one lower from the Supreme Court. So it was a big deal. It was a big challenge that I wanted to take. And it's funny because the other DACA student and I were the 2 students selected to do it. And it was a great experience. We got to argue in front of the 9th Circuit Court.
Después de algunos años de matrimonio, 9 años de matrimonio, como en todas personas que no tienen ese estatus legal para poder trabajar libremente en este país, era lo que pasaba con mi esposo. Él era una persona que no tenía documentos. Trabajó en una empresa donde se dieron cuenta de que no tenía documentos, se dieron cuenta, ya tenía él como 5 años de estar trabajando para la compañía y lo despidieron. Y ese día llegó a casa y me dijo, ¿sabes qué? Me despidieron de mi trabajo. Le dije, no pasa nada. Pero creo que no lo asimiló muy bien él y cayó en una depresión muy profunda, donde llegó la muerte. Emerson, el hermano de Cristel, con el que se había criado toda su vida, con el que habían venido juntos esa travesía de Honduras para acá. Y después de muchos años de estar aquí, de estudiar acá, de hacer una vida acá, lo deportaron a Honduras. La muerte de mi esposo fue el 19 de octubre y a Emerson lo deportaron como el 22 de octubre. No había enterrado a mi esposo todavía. Todo en una semana.
I don't think we'll ever like heal completely, but you just learn to live with it. But it's hard. One of the hardest things for my brother to accept when he was deported is that he might not be able to see his 2 US citizens' daughters who live here, who are now getting older and asking questions. And I feel like, as unfair as it sounds, they blame him, for not being here. And I don't know if he's gonna see them again. My brother getting deported, it was tough, but then he moved to Spain, so he's good now. But with Google, it was a different ending. And I think it was both of my losses was because of immigration, Like my brother got deported because he wasn't born here. And I feel like Kuko's depression stemmed from his status. There was a lot of things he couldn't do because he was undocumented too. And I know how hard it is to live a life like that. So I understand him. I misschooled more than usual, so I had to talk to the professors, to the dean at the school, and explain to them what was happening. And they told me oh, you should drop some classes, and then don't worry about the Ninth Circuit, we can take over. But I felt like that was kind of giving up a little bit and also putting my goals aside. And I know Kuko, my stepdad, wouldn't have liked that. So he said, no, I'm gonna push through. It's gonna keep me busy. It's gonna keep me focused. I know I have to just be there for my mom and keep doing my thing. I wanted to graduate in 2017, and that was the plan, and that's what I did. I started writing a book. It was actually a year after Cuco's passing. It was in October 2017. I feel like I was so busy trying to be there for my mom and my family that I never got to mourn him. I was in a bad place emotionally. People didn't know or didn't see it. So I just started writing as a healing process. I wanted to put my emotions and my thoughts in writing because I thought it would help me, like a diary kind of thing. As I was writing, I thought, oh, maybe this could be a book. And then that's how it started. From the proceeds that I get from the sales, I plan to give out scholarships to DACA students mostly, or even scholarships so people can renew their DACA, which to some people might not be a lot of money, but just pulling $500 every 2 years, it's not everybody can do it, and especially if you have a family to support. So I'm sure it could help people out there. Now I work at Immigrant Defenders Law Center, or IMDEF, and I am a post-law clerk working on the Children's Representation Project. So I get to help unaccompanied minors, mini versions of me, that come here and that are in shelters and have immigration court. I think the reason I decided to work here is because the director Lindsay's goal is to have universal representation, which means everybody should have an attorney when they go to immigration court, which doesn't happen right now.
I just want to know why is that?
Because that's how the system is.
Yeah, 9324. And then file number. It's right here. 445699.
I pass.
Ay, cómo tiembla.
So I passed.
De verdad te lo digo, nunca me imaginé verte donde has llegado y de todo corazón, que no hay palabras para decirte lo agradecida que me siento con Dios, porque Él es quien te ha permitido que llegues donde estés, pero otra cosa que te ha puesto en ese nivel y te va a llegar a niveles más altos es tu humildad.
Exactamente.
Eso es lo que te ha hecho tan grande y llegar al lugar donde estás, es tu humildad. Y que la profesión que escogiste no lo haces por ningún interés, sino por vocación, porque le nace ayudar a los demás. Y que el Señor te bendiga, que el Señor te siga prosperando y que esta victoria que has recibido hoy, tu vida vaya de victoria en victoria.
Amén.
En mi respecto, te admiro mucho. Yo soy la que he pasado mucho tiempo, creo yo, que conviviendo en las noches con tu mamá, vagando y todo. Y yo me acuerdo que un día llegamos con ella en la madrugada y tú estabas con unos grandes libros estudiando. Y yo le dije, admiro a tu hija. Admiro a tu hija, le dije yo a ella, por ese interés de querer salir adelante. Te deseo lo mejor, mamá. Eres una linda persona, como amiga, como hija, eres una gran hija. Yo sé que te va a ir bien de aquí para el Real.
¡Bravo!
As an officer of the court, I will strive to conduct myself at all times with dignity, courtesy, and integrity. Congratulations.
Being undocumented will never define me. It's part of my life, it affects my life, it adds like limits and complications, but it doesn't define the woman that I am. It is a gift from God to be a person who touches other people's hearts. I aspire to do that. I remember the resilient sacrifices, generosity, and the love of my family, community, dreamers, friends, and professors who have not given up despite the circumstances. The dreams only die if the dreamer dies. Until then, the fight continues. I am a dreamer that has made her dreams come true. I decided I wanted to be an attorney because it's a way to help young versions of me.